So this video came across my feed, and I left the guy's talking about there's no limited atonement. He's out to get the Calvinist, the dastardly Calvinist, and he's going through John 10:37 and 38, and what he's trying to say is that Jesus is talking to unbelievers, wishing and hoping they would become sheep. They're not sheep. And so John 10:38 says Jesus wants them to be sheep, okay? But he's not. Here, listen to what he says.
Jeremiah 15:16 and Angie. John 10:37, 38. Did they ever read this to you? Remember, he's talking to those whom he said, "You're not my sheep."
No, he's not.
If I do not do the work...
What he is, there's a crowd. It's not just non-believers in the crowd. There's believers and non-believers. I mean, why is it all non-believers?
Works of my Father, do not believe. Believe me.
Okay, messes the sentence up a little bit. In 38 it says, if I don't do the works, don't believe me.
But if I do, though you do not believe, believe the works, that you may know and believe the Father's in me and I in him. Bam!
No, not bam. And he's going to go on to say that in that sentence, he's speaking to unbelievers. Like only. And he wants them to believe. But that's not what John is saying. Let's look at it. First of all, go back here. We can go back to here. I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and I am known of mine. My sheep know me, as the Father knows me. As the Father knows me. That's kind of important. They know me just like the Father knows me. I'm his son. Even so I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. He doesn't lay down his life for the non-sheep. He lays down his life for the sheep. And then they're going to try to kill him. Or they pick up stones to throw at him. And so Jesus is in Solomon's porch. That's an area where only Jews go. They have in Solomon's temple, they have a court for the Gentiles, and he's on the porch, just like under the columns, where the Gentiles cannot go. So it's just Jews. All right, and they came around and say, "How long are you going to keep us in the dark? Just tell us plainly if you're the Christ." And Jesus says, he says, "I told you, and ye, not all of them." You, these guys here, believe not. The works that I do them in my Father's authority, onoma, Greek word onoma. They bear witness of me. Yet ye, you guys, believe not. And why don't you believe? Because you are not my sheep. You are not my sheep. Not all of you. You guys here are not my sheep. As I said, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. But you guys aren't. The ones in the crowd that hear my voice and follow me, they know me. They're my sheep. I lay down my life for them. But you guys are not my sheep. You don't believe me because you're not my sheep, like I said. And I give them eternal life, and no one can pluck them out of my hand. Okay. And again, they pick up stones to kill him. Jesus answered them, many good works have I, believe what I do. Like not what I say, believe what I do. Okay, so many good works have I showed you from my Father. Which of these works do you stone me for? And Jesus answered, we're not stoning you for what you did. We're stoning you for what you said. But he's going to say, you should believe what he says, but believe what I do. Okay? He's going to say that here in a minute. He answered them, it is written in the law, I said you're gods. That's Psalm 82. That's like a picture of what's going on. God standing in the midst of his bloodline people in Solomon's court where just the Jews are. And he's saying, you're like little gods. You're from the bloodline. But some of you going to die. So Jesus, that's the picture. Jesus is standing in the midst of his people. There's some believers there, but there's non-believers there. There's both in the crowd. That's Psalm 82. That's the picture of that. Even though you're my bloodline, some of you's going to die. But some of you's not. Okay. Now blaspheme because I said I am God. Okay, here it is. Here he's talking to the crowd. Watch carefully. Because this fool missed it. If I don't do the works of my Father, don't believe me. Believers, he's talking to believers. The unbelievers, they're not his sheep. They're not going to believe him no matter what. If I don't do the works of my Father, don't believe me. But if I do, believe the works. Yes, I cut out that part. I'm going to get to it. Because you got to understand, he's in the crowd. It's Psalm 82. There's believers and there's non-believers. But if I do, believers, even though ye over here, these guys, believe me not, believers, believe thy works. That's a command. That's not saying I want all of you to. That's a command to the believers. Believe the works that you may know and believe that I am from the Father and he's from me. Though ye guys over here believe not. You, my sheep, believe me. He's not talking to unbelievers, wishing and hoping they would believe. He says they don't. Ye believe me not. But believers believe my works. They're my sheep. They know my voice. They don't become sheep. They are his sheep. Well, how do you become a sheep? Well, you're born a sheep. Goats don't become sheep. They just don't. They believe him because they are his sheep. They don't believe and become his sheep. They believe him because they are his sheep. And why don't these guys believe? Though ye believe not, why don't those guys in the crowd believe not? Because he says right here, ye, those dudes over there, believe me not. Why? Because you're not my sheep, as I said. No, sir. He is not talking to unbelievers, wishing and hoping they would believe. He said, you over there, ye believe not. But my sheep hear my voice. He commands them, believe in me. It's a command, believe in me. And they do because they're his sheep. The ones over there that don't, they're not his sheep. That's why they don't believe, because they're not his sheep. He did not lay down their life for them. He laid down his life for the sheep. He's not talking to unbelievers, wishing and hoping they would believe, sir. You're an idiot. Jesus doesn't tell unbelievers to believe because they're not. They're not his sheep. He doesn't talk to goats saying, turn into a sheep. That's stupid. Stupido. So you're wrong. You're trying to get a Calvinist. You're trying to beat him in a debate because you love debate. You shouldn't love debate. You should love the truth. And you should want to teach the truth, not prove a Calvinist wrong in a debate. If they've got some error, that's fine. Point it out. Just like you've got error and just like I'm pointing it out. I don't care whether you're a Calvinist. I don't care what you're. I don't know what you are. I've never met you before. I've never seen you before on the internet. But I saw this and I left you a message. I was looking in my interlinear and I thought you made a mistake on one of the words. But my interlinear was actually, it was my phone interlinear. And it had a word in there that I think is wrong. When I got home, I checked my Greek Bible. And you were right. So, yeah, I apologize, man. You were right about the word. It does say believe. But it doesn't matter. He's talking to his sheep, the ones that believe, the ones that know and hear his voice. That's who he's talking to. He's not talking to everybody's in the crowd, but he's not telling the unbelievers to believe. He said, you don't believe. Because they're not his sheep. And he died for his sheep, not the unbelievers. That's limited atonement. And it's right there in front of your face and you missed it.